inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the door closest starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye.
Okay guys, so going down the road here in the 2016 Corvette, already I'm having so much fun with this car. Anytime I'm in a Corvette, it just gives you this presence on the road that's just unmistakable. If you're in a Corvette, like you're in a freaking Corvette, like it's just cool. There's always something cool about it. Again, this is a 2016 Corvette. This car really doesn't have anything done to it. It's pretty much bone stock. My buddy David got it around a month ago, or maybe a little bit less, and he wanted me to get a review of it, so obviously I'm definitely going to agree to that. So thank you, David, for letting me get a review of your car. If you're new to the channel and you're into Corvettes, car content, again, make sure to subscribe. Always going to be uploading more content. Also, my C6 is being rebuilt. I'm having a forged bottom end put in my car, and I should get it back in about a month. So again, if you're interested in keeping up with that build, subscribe to the channel. You'll see a lot more regarding that here soon. But again, this car has nothing done to it, bone stock. So what's it like to drive? So just starting out, just going down the road, the steering response is really good. I'm really a fan of it. This car actually has a mode selector button or wheel that you can change the steering feel and also the damping. This car has magnetic ride control, which my car does not have that, and I did not know what I was missing until I drove one that did. So right now I have it in eco mode, and the car actually rides really well, but when you put it over in track mode, it is an instantaneous difference in ride quality. The ride quality is way harsher. I mean, you can feel literally every bump in the road, literally just by switching this knob right here. But the benefits of that obviously would be if you're on the track, you're going to have a better time going around corners and stuff. You can probably hear in my voice, I'm in track mode right now, you can probably hear the difference in my voice going over these bumps versus eco mode. Let's go back to eco mode. Well, now we are in eco mode. I don't know if you can tell it in the video, but I promise you there is an extreme noticeable difference in ride quality between those two modes. It's actually pretty crazy. Throttle response is really good. Obviously this is a naturally aspirated V8, so throttle response is going to be good. Another thing to mention, with it being stock, it's kind of nice to drive stock cars. I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to touch on it again. My car's cammed, and most any other cam cars, you do make more power having a bigger cam, but that power is pushed higher up in the RPM range, and the torque really is pushed higher in the RPM range. So what that means is this car has a ton of torque really far down low with a stock cam in it. Fourth gear at 2,000 RPMs, if I give it gas, it pulls really good. My car, it would take a little bit longer, about 3,500, 4,000 RPM, so it really started to give you that punch. So what I'm getting at is sometimes it's nice having the stock drivability with a stock cam in specific. It's something that I've really enjoyed driving this car. It's something that I missed about my old car. Not willing to give it up because at high RPMs, screaming, going really fast and going really hard on the car, I still prefer a cam car, but it's definitely nice driving a car with stock drivability, or a Corvette with stock drivability again. This car, again, is stock. I think these cars make 455 or 460 horsepower to the crank. So if I was to guess, it would be low 400s to the wheels, maybe 415, 420, somewhere in that range. Either way, a 400 wheel horsepower car is going to be pretty quick, and obviously Corvettes are not very heavy. The C7 variant is a little bit heavier than the C6. But not by a huge margin. Still, overall, really like car. A ton of fun to drive, light on his feet. One of the biggest differences as far as the C7 Corvette goes, diversifying it from the C6, in my opinion, is the interior quality. So everybody knows the C6, the interior quality wasn't all that great. I would have to say it's not as bad as what some people make it out to be, given the era of the cars and the other cars made at that same time period. My car is a 2009. The interior quality definitely, it suffered. Especially when you compare it to a C7 Corvette. So this car has much more soft touch to it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely still plastic in here. The interior definitely still rattles. Still a Corvette when it comes to that. You can watch other people and they'll tell you that, you know, this is comparable to a Ferrari interior. Or you know, a luxury car. I'm not going to agree with that. I will say that it is a big improvement from where it was with the C6, but I will not say it's to that level. I just want to be transparent, honest with you guys. Still a Corvette interior. There's definitely still cheap parts, cheap plastics, but again, overall, huge improvement. Good job there, and I'm really excited to finally sit in a C8 and kind of feel what the improvement is over the C7. The seats in this car are really good. I love how they have adjustable side bolsters here, and also the lumbar, which is really nice. Quality is really good stitching on the leather. So real quick, I got it on some back roads here. Let me get straightened up here. And about 27 miles an hour first gear. We're in track mode now. You'll hear the exhaust will be a little bit louder, and go. Yeah, for a stock car, this thing still moves out. That was a lot of fun. Let's try a second gear punch this time. All right, second gear, about 45 miles an hour, and go. That is a blast. That is so much fun. Yeah, this car gets down. Maybe it's me not being used to driving a fast car in a while, but this car is definitely really fast. It moves out pretty good. I'm impressed, especially for a stock Corvette. One thing I would have to say I'm definitely not used to is the exhaust. Even in track mode, I mean, it does get louder than it does in like eco mode or touring mode, but I honestly, I think I would have to have more. David, I know you've said that several times, and I kind of disagree with you, but when I'm doing stuff like that, I do kind of want it to be a little bit louder. Again, I'm probably just used to my car. My car is straight pipe with no cats or mufflers, so as you can imagine, it's pretty rowdy when you get on it. Everybody's going to hear it from a couple miles away probably. One other thing I kind of want to talk about Corvettes in general real quick is the practicality. So I've had so many people go in the comments and bash me for saying this, but I just don't think that they understand that. Everybody else says, well, you don't buy a Corvette for practicality, and you're right, but if you're going to buy a sports car, here's how I look at it. You can buy a Mustang with back seats, but nobody's going to want to be in those back seats, or you can buy a Camaro with back seats. There's not enough room back there. I mean, maybe a small kid could use it. So realistically, are you really going to use the back seats in your sports car? Probably not. I mean, the owner of this car, he has a 5th gen Camaro. Very, very, very rarely are those back seats ever used. Number two, the room in the back of this car is huge. I mean, my C6, I can fit a bunch of stuff in the back of it. I went to the beach a couple years ago, and I was able to fit all of my stuff in there, a cooler, my cousin's stuff. I mean, and we had room to spare. It's just a ton of room. Yes, it's 2 doors. The car is actually pretty practical. I mean, even the gas mileage on the car. This car was flipped down into 4-cylinder mode. Let me take this thing out of track mode. It's beating me to death, and I'm just trying to talk here. On the highway, this car will go down into 4-cylinder mode, or it'll deactivate 4 of the cylinders, and this thing gets over, I think it's a little bit over, when I drove it earlier, it's getting over 30 miles to the gallon on the highway. That's crap. I mean, for a 460 horsepower car, I mean, that's pretty huge. I mean, I daily drive an Acura TSX, and I think it gets to roughly the same as a 4-cylinder. I just think that's cool. I mean, this car has 460 horsepower, but yet you can still take it on a trip and get great gas mileage out of it. I think that's something to be said for these cars. You know, a lot of other sports cars can't say the same. So overall, this car, you know, is a ton of fun. I know I haven't really touched on everything here, guys. I don't really do exterior reviews too much. If you'd like to see more content like this, drop down in the comments, let me know. I'm always loving to do reviews. If I can get my hands on somebody's car and they want me to do a review, I'd be more than glad to. It doesn't have to be a C7, it could be anything. I just love sharing content with you guys. But again, overall, this car is just been a ton of fun to drive. The next thing I'm going to kind of move on to, as we're nearing the end of the video here, I want to talk about cost. So everybody knows the C8 Corvettes are coming out, which subsequently the cost of the C7 Corvettes should drop. I won't say what David got this for, but he got a really good deal with it. This car's only got 64,000 miles, and I mean, he really got a steal on it. Great car, especially with all the features. This one isn't you know, a super based out base model. I mean, it's pretty much top trim level for the non-Z06 or ZR1 Corvette. So, you know, what can you get these for, and should you get them? Roughly, what I'm seeing, a good used C7 Corvette, you're looking around the $40,000 range, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, depending on what you want. That's for base model, not Z06, which, to be honest, I feel like the best bang for your buck is in the base model. That's my personal opinion. You really can up the performance of your base model for not a lot of money. Just throw a supercharger on it, and I mean, you're got a seriously fast car on your hands. But yeah, so at the let's just say $40,000 range, is this car worth it? Well, chances are, if you're able to afford a $40,000 car, yeah, I mean, this car is great. It's not a family car, but if it's just you and one other person, and you're asking yourself, well, would it be practical to get this? Granted, it's not a truck, you're not going to be hauling dirt in it. But for a sports car, yeah, absolutely, it's super practical. I would recommend any Corvette, really, to anyone who's in the market to get one. They just have an awesome pedigree. There's a cult following to the car. I mean, it's a freaking Corvette. Like, I can't explain to you how many times I drive down the road and people holler out the window, or if I'm at the gas station, just random people walk up and talk to me about it. Say what you want, but that stuff's cool. You know, it's this conversation starter. Almost anybody you talk to will be like, yeah, you know, my grandpa had a Corvette, or my dad had a Corvette when I was this age. Etc., etc. There's just such a pedigree to the car. Everybody loves it. Most everybody loves it. They're great cars. They're proven. And another cool thing about this car, is another reason I think it's worth the money, this is the last iteration that we'll be getting of the Corvette with a front engine design. The new C8 Corvette is mid-engine, and I really don't think that there's going to be another Corvette that has the engine in the front. So this is the last of the, what I would call, old school style Corvettes. Corvette started in '53, if I'm not mistaken, and last production model year of this C7 Corvette style is 2019. As you know, 2020 is the C8 mid-engine. To me, that's worth something in its own. This is the last iteration of a front-engine rear-wheel drive Corvette. So to me, that's really special. Is it worth $40,000? Absolutely. Yeah, if you can afford one, get it. You will absolutely not be disappointed in your purchase. They're just such fun cars. But again, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, guys. You know, just recently I hit over 1,000 subscribers, but I'm still trying to get my channel to grow as much as I can. If you had anything in the video that you disagree with me on or agree with me, be sure to drop a comment. I always respond to my comments. I love engaging with my viewers. Something that I really enjoy doing. I like getting your feedback. Thank you guys for watching so much. I hope each and every one of you have an awesome day. Peace and God bless.